That's where we're at now. We're at a Call of Duty commentary. Awesome. I want to talk about Call of Duty current day warfare because I think it's really fun and interesting to talk about that, and I love talking. And the only reason I got this gameplay is because I don't play much COD anymore, because Black Ops 4 kind of sucks. So my Wi-Fi was having AIDS, so this is bots. This is like veteran or hardened bots, whichever it is. The hard ones. I was running around trying to stack some low levels kill streaks. Not a big deal. Don't worry about it. I haven't played this game in so long, so it's not exactly going to be the highest tier gameplay. So, Call of Duty Present Day Warfare is the newest release in the Call of Duty franchise by Infinity Ward. Infinity Ward? The ones who made Modern Warfare in the old days. Now, this game looks fantastic so far. The release has included stuff like no season passes, brand new engine, no more specialists. The old map designers from the old Call of Duty days, like Modern Warfare 1 and 2, are back, so all those classic maps instead of the 3-lane designs, which sucks so badly, those guys are back. A very dark and gritty campaign. Spec Ops, my main man. I love Spec Ops. I put so much time into Spec Ops growing up. It's probably the thing I'm most excited about. It looks like weapon licensing's back, so we'll get some actual real-life guns instead of the AK-502 and the AR-307. So that's pretty neato. And I think it's pretty cool because this seems like a power play of sorts. I feel like with the most two recent CODs, World War II and Black Ops 4 was kind of testing the COD community. And what I mean by that is it was consistently pushing the boundaries in what they could charge and how much they could cheapskate the community. Black Ops 4 is a crime against AAA game design. It has almost no post-launch content. It has the most microtransactions you can fit. It's got season passes, DLCs, microtransactions, loot boxes, god dang cosmetics, emotes, everything you can spend money on, you can spend money on. And it is disgusting for how much content they actually have. And honestly, the game, there's a lot of issues with the game. I can go on for hours about how poorly put together Black Ops 4 is, but I'm not going to. It's not about Black Ops 4. I'm not talking about that right now. Jumping back to Call of Duty Today Warfare, the most telling thing is how much the complaints from games that are 2 or 3 years old are suddenly being listened to. People have been complaining about the DLC pattern and the specialists and the engine they've used for years, and there's been not a whisper about it. And it's like they've been completely ignored all complaints until this game where they've suddenly taken every single one into one huge release and dropped it all on us. And on top of that, this game is not going to be received well in the public eye due to the edgy, quote-unquote, content in it, which I think is good. I think it's very good. I think Call of Duty is at its best when it's not trying to be the game. It's not Overwatch. It never was Overwatch. It was always kind of a young adult. It's the Michael Bay of shooters. It's very technically proficient. It has very tight gameplay. And it, for the most part, does look good, but at this point, it's looked very dated. The gameplay we've seen is almost photorealistic, and overall, it's just gotten glowing reviews from all the YouTubers who have gone and taken a look at it. I have not. I don't know why. I have one whole Call of Duty video on this 13 subscriber channel. I don't know. I don't know why I haven't been taken down to wherever they go to play the game, but clearly next time, Infinity Ward, hit me up. I'll go down, play it, advertise it for you. I'll sing its praise to you. It sucks. I'll sell out. Beside the point. I think the hype train is fully warranted because this game feels like it's legitimately put together to satisfy the fan base. There's no, from what we've seen so far, there's no major changes from the classics. It's mostly just kind of Call of Duty again. And I think the name is very intentional in that matter because they're trying to really sell that this is Call of Duty that you played 10 years ago, but refined for the modern era. New engine, new, it's probably some new features, just like every Call of Duty, it's some random new feature that's probably pointless, but for the most part, classic Call of Duty, which is what we need, because Call of Duty is at its best. The best Call of Duty games have been the ones that, instead of trying to change it, just add the little things. So, for example, Modern Warfare 2. It's heralded as arguably the most entertaining Call of Duty of all time. Not the best one, because it's honestly pretty terrible balance-wise. But because it took the skeleton of Modern Warfare and added, or Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, sorry, then there's a new Modern Warfare on the block, and added stuff like secondary shotguns, a larger variety of weapons, more score streaks, and Spec Ops. So it took that skeleton and added features to it as opposed to changing it. The issue with the modern ones has been that it's taken the skeleton and it's changed the skeleton. It's added weird new features. It's added these specialists, bullet jumping, flying, turbo light speed slides, and it's removed features that are important like campaigns. And I think special operatives modes, co-op modes are super important because they give you something to do that isn't just, you know, multiplayer. It gives people who like speed runs and challenges something to do. And honestly, it's a lot easier to make content on co-op stuff. It's a lot easier to make content on co-op stuff because it's more engaging on what the players, how the players interact with each other versus how the players interact with the opposing team. So I think that's huge. That's going to be really big. I think it's going to give the game a much bigger YouTube presence because even if, like, you know, the whole weapon guide, gameplay montages, sniper montages stuff dies out relatively fast, you can create content off of a co-op mode because it's naturally more engaging for the players to engage with each other. That was a terribly put together sentence. It's better for the players to engage with each other versus kind of sitting quietly to concentrate because it's so much harder to play multiplayer and you have to put so much thought into predicting enemies. So that is awesome. That's a big change in my opinion. So kind of to summarize my thoughts, I think the new Call of Duty is, I think they are a lot smarter than they put on, the developers. I think they've intentionally stretched the bill with the previous ones, and this has been in development for a fair while. At the minimum, the maps have been designing for over a year, which the maps are not the first thing you make when making a COD game. They have this brand new engine they've been working on for, I've heard, over 3 years, but I'm not certain on that. That's just a number I heard. This has clearly been something they put a lot of work into versus something like World War II, which was clearly slapped together in a suboptimal amount of time. Similar to this. Now, the one thing I want to see is I want to see weapons variety, because we have had a steadily decreasing number of weapons per game in Call of Duty. Remember back in Modern Warfare 2? We're going to go back to that, because I think that's the golden standard of Call of Duty. We had, 15 assault rifles, 5 different pistols, 6 shotguns, 4 rocket launchers, 5 or 6 snipers, 4 or 5 LMGs, half dozen to a dozen SMGs. We had variety. In this game, at launch, we had 5 SMGs, I think 5 or 6 assault rifles, 3 LMGs, 4 snipers, 2 DMRs, 2 burst rifles, 2 pistols, a revolver, and 1 rocket launcher. So I really want us to take a return to form as far as the weapon variety goes and the attachments. We need attachments to do something again, because there's been another trend where attachments just kind of don't affect the gunplay. I think it got to its worst in Infinite Warfare, where like the grips would add like 3% recoil reduction, and like the headshot mods would only add extra damage at medium range. It's really, what's a good word for it? Disheartening to put a bunch of attachments in your gun and have it barely change the performance at all. So I would like to see them go back to more of a classic Black Ops 2, Modern Warfare 2 system, where the attachments and guns add actual variety to the game as opposed to kind of just being an afterthought. And I think the real telling factor of this game is how it concentrates on ESL, esports. ESL, in my opinion, has been one of the main factors in COD slowly dying. And you can go, oh, well, it's still selling lots of games, it's not dying. I don't have numbers on this, but I'm willing to bet cash right now that the post-launch sales for this game, specifically the microtransactions, has been way poorer than they predicted for Black Ops 4. Because the player counts are terrible, but if there's no player counts, there's no one to buy your crappy cosmetics. So I'm willing to bet that like cash flow tanked with Black Ops 4. The question is, are they going to balance these games for ESL, or are they going to balance it for fun factor? So ESL is what really wants that 3-lane system. It's what really wants the low weapon counts, so they have it perfectly tuned. It wants attachments to do less and less and less, so that it's more balanced for ESL. What people want for disjointed gameplay is variety. We want as many features and things to play with that are different as possible. So, Modern Warfare, again, for assault rifles, you had 2 burst rifles, one for close range, one for long range. You had 3 heavy ARs, 1 high fire rate, 1 low fire rate, 1 medium fire rate, all different recoil patterns. You had 3 medium damage. You had low damage assault rifles. You had multiple DMRs. That kind of variety, and while it wasn't perfectly balanced, clearly the FAMAS tanked the M16 for usability, and clearly the AACR and a couple other assault rifles really just crushed all the other weapons as far as usability went. You were still perfectly fine using any of the assault rifles, and it gave you so many different gameplay features to just mess around with, which is going to really help longevity. And honestly, for Infinity Ward, you want to get your sales up, make the game super replayable so that people will constantly be coming back to play it. That's how you get the revenue stream up. Not from adding a buttload of microtransactions, but from adding features to keep people playing the game as long as possible. And then add some microtransactions. That's going to keep, 1, the player base happy and playing longer, and 2, the reviews higher so you get more players later on down the road. So that's just my 2 cents in the matter. I'm honestly really hyped. This has been a bit of a jumble. I'm not still a little new to the whole Call of Duty commentary thing. I don't know this video style I'll be doing very often. But, you know, with the Wi-Fi time, and my computer's kind of tanking, so I gotta take that data checked out. I can't really do a whole lot of editing right now, or play many games, so I just kind of thought I'd talk about that. It's kind of a fun topic, and I honestly am hyped. You know what, I'm excited. I like being hyped for games, and I think Call of Duty Modern Warfare is a game worth being hyped about because it seems very intentional, all the features they've announced. They've really put work into figuring out exactly what the fans want and pressured that, which is a little scary because in the past they've done that to kind of like slide sketchy features under the rug. But I'm gonna choose to stay optimistic. I think it's gonna be a really, good game. I'm definitely gonna be getting it when it comes out unless there's some big controversy around it. So yeah, that's about it. Wait, I missed something. What was it? Oh, yeah. Like and subscribe. Follow me on Facebook, Tinder, Pornhub. My MySpace is 1234yourmom@yahoo.com. Follow my LinkedIn. I've got a Twitch. Not gonna link it though. And yeah, that's about it. Deuces.